So what do we do if the key consists of more than one column? What do I mean by that? In our previous chapters, when we are comparing data, fetching data from another sheet, we were always assuming that the key, so the ID, is in one single column. Of course, we did the VLOOKUP, we did the SUMIF, COUNTIF, and our new nice index formula, and we always referred to one single value. For example, VLOOKUP and then search this value. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you don't have an ID, then you have to try to find something. Or sometimes the ID is just more than one column. Like here in this sheet here, items sold. You see here is an old table and an update table. We're assuming that it's two different distinct tables. I have my old list here. And a colleague sent me this update list and I want to put the new value right here. We did it in one of the first chapters already, but now it's not so easy because I cannot do, for example, VLOOKUP or our new index formula or SUMIF, because this ID here is more than one time in the other list. This ID, for example, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So if I do a VLOOKUP from here to here, I don't know, do I get the 70, do I get the 69 or whatever? So what does that mean? Is that an error? No, it's not an error because the key actually consists of these two columns. This line makes only sense when you take both of these into consideration, because the meaning is ID plus month gives you a value that makes sense. So the key consists of more than one column, and you call it a key, and the key is always a combination of one or more columns that qualifies the row entirely. So if you have this combination key plus month, for example, the 2 times with the same month and the same key, that would make no sense. That would be an inconsistency. But if you have this combination only once, it makes sense. This is for January, February, and so on and so on. So I need something like VLOOKUP or the index formula where I can put 2 or 3 or more columns in. And I usually do that by a very easy trick. The trick is a new column, a temporary column, which is kind of the key as a string. So you can combine the key, the 2 columns, to one word. That's very easy and very nice. So I just say equals, like I do a formula. Then I select the first cell here. Then I do this and sign, this concatenates strings. Then I do this. This is just the sign for the string, a minus or a dash. Then again the and sign. And then the month. So now I hit enter. And then I have a combination of the key and the month in one string. It's just like that. Because I have the dash already in the key, let's say we take a plus here. Okay, so now it's easier. Now you may wonder why you have this number here and not the month. That's because Excel sees dates as numbers. It's the number of days beginning from the January 1st, 1900. I can show you if I do this here from date to January, you see that this is actually the date. So that's not a problem. It's sometimes it's annoying, but in this case, it's really no problem. I make this in a lighter color. I can drag the whole formula down. And now I have really one key, right? So this is I usually call it search value in my work environment. Maybe you have a better name. And I have to do the same thing here. Search value. This is only the key. Here do the same thing, equals first column, and sign, then only the string with the plus and sign, and then here. Even the plus is not necessary, of course, but it looks better. It's better for the human eye that I can see the combination, if the combination works, because there's a plus. So now I have the search value, and now it's really easy, because now I can go over these here. And you see that with a VLOOKUP I would have a problem, because I want to go from here to here. I want to go from right to left. That's why I use our new index formula. Let me copy the formula. As I already said, I don't have it on mind. I always copy it from my Evernote or another sheet. So here's my pattern for the formula. You remember A1 was the search value, and it must be one value, of course. This is now this new temporary value, combination of two keys. I was input and O was output. So from I to O, where I go in, where do I go out? So here do I go in this LL column, because I search this thing here, and where do I go out? In other words, what do I want to see? This, right? I want to see the new items sold. It's so easy when you know how to do it. Now I hit enter. Now I see this combination with January was 68. Perfect. To make this looking better just for this training, I removed a couple of values here. So here is an NA, because it's just this combination is not here. Okay, so we are assuming that our colleague didn't send us the full list. But if he sent us the full list, we have here, for example, 68 and then 69. What was that? The number with the 15 in February. Here is it. The key with the 15 in February, 69. And here the really strong index formula comes into play. You can just say I go from here to here. And this nice trick here with the search value, then I can hide this. And I can hide this. Of course, if you have new values, don't forget to pull this down, otherwise it won't work. Yeah, if you extend that here, you have to drag this formula down. Right? No problem. But this is a really, really nice trick, and you will maybe use that very often in your office.